Hi, and welcome to day 27 of the 28 days of play. Today's prompt is really all about kind of taking a little reflection over our journey this last month and really just trying to, let me read the exact prompt for you. Honor how far this process has carried you. And I think when I take a pause to think back at that, I was looking back through my sketchbook this morning, and I'm just really proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for showing up, because I've always thought that maybe like making art a daily practice would be really challenging, because I'm at that stage of life too where like I'm sandwich generation, right? So I have young kids, but then I also have older parents that we're caring for. And so life is just busy and full of unexpected things. But what I found is that usually what would really derail me creatively for a number of days hasn't, because I know this is going to just be a few minutes that I give to myself, and I've usually been able to work it in, even if it's not first thing in the morning, which is when I would love for it to be. But sometimes I've had to, pick up some time after dinner, or find some time when I can just squeeze it in between things, because I've made it important for myself. So anyway, just feeling some confidence that I can make that work, or even if I'm traveling, be able to just pop some watercolors in a bag and take it with me, and then have some fun even when I'm traveling, but in different ways. And then I also feel like it has really shifted something inside of me. I just feel much more confident in general, and I feel like I've really enjoyed these like non-precious little studies that we've been doing, and I feel like there's a lot of exciting things that I'm like chomping at the bit now to get on the canvas and play with, and then carry those things forward. And so I've also learned that there is a lot of value to working small and working on something that probably will never be seen by other people, but there's such great value in just that time for myself of really like slowing down truly and listening to my creative spirit. And I just feel really happy, and I could not think of a better way to make my way through the month of February. So thank you so much for being with me. And even if you haven't decided to pick up your paintbrush yet, I hope you have enjoyed this time, and that it has also brought you some peace and some joy during this month of February. And but I do encourage you, and I hope you feel encouraged. I've seen some comments from several of you saying, I really feel encouraged that I can pick up my paintbrush again. So please do. I would love that so much. A lot of these things that I've been exploring here in my little sketchbook, I feel like these are the things that are just kind of like, they're like little seeds of ideas, And so some of the things I've looked back and I'm like, ooh, I want to do more of that. I want to see what more of that might look like, or a different scale of that might look like. So I'm very excited about everything that's happened here. So as I paint today, I'm probably going to do a pretty simple painting, because I really just want to have this be more a time for you where you can do some reflection. And so as I'm painting today, just do a little reflection yourself about like, what has the last 28 days of painting felt like for you. Sometimes learning something to carry forward is also learning some things or undoing some things, some bad habits that we're ready to let go of. And for me, it was definitely, I'm ready to let go of the social media consumption first thing in the morning. I'm ready to let go of just hopping into like desk work, because that feels easy to just knock out. I want to start my day being creative. And so I realized that I had my priorities mixed up. And so that's what I want to just like ditch and never go back to. So check in on me and make sure I am holding to that. All right, let's get started with our painting today. Okay, my friends, so did I mark off day 27? I don't think I did yet. I need to do it. It's our tradition. Okay, day 27. This sheet, this sheet has seen a lot of things. So I was going to read you, this is another card from the Create to Breathe playing cards deck, and this is from the section that's called Establish the Connection, Making Mindful Moments. And this one actually says, honor the ending. Step back when you're done, take a deep breath, and thank yourself for showing up. Whisper a word of gratitude for the time and energy you gave to your creativity today. And I think it is very fitting for what we are doing in just honoring what we have experienced over the last month together. So I'm going to set that to the side, and I'm just going to keep life easy today. For some reason, I feel like I'm inspired to go back to where we began. And I would love to do another little study like this that is kind of like day 1, but we're going to do it on day 27. How's that sound? So let's start with some wonderful watercolor brushes. All right, friends, let's see. What do we want to do? What do we want to do? Let's just let our brush guide us. I'm going to dip in some water. I'm going to find a little bit of color here. These are some colors I already had out from yesterday, so that's a fine place to begin. And I'm just going to start to play. And I think what has been really important for me too is just remembering how important play is. And now every time you paint flowers, right, you're going to remember our little talk about boobies. Yeah, let's see. I think I want to add some of the magenta to that. It's like magenta is the one thing I don't have on my palette right now for some reason. Oops. I have such a bad habit of that. Holding a brush that is full of paint and then opening a jar, and then it flicks paint onto my paper. Not the smartest move. Okay, so now I'm going to pick up some of this magenta and see what I can do with that. So remember, when we're painting flowers, we just really don't want to make it fussy at all. I'm just bringing in different shapes. I'm thinking about variety with my shapes. I'm thinking about variety of different sizes in general. Different shapes, different types of flowers maybe. And when I say types of flowers, I literally just mean shapes, honestly. Like, you know, I paint my heart flowers, right? Gotta paint your heart flowers. I think I want to do another one of these guys. Maybe over here. That guy was looking too centrally located. Okay, and let's see, I think I want to do, these are very purpley pinks, so maybe I want to pick up a little orange, but I think I'm going to grab a different brush. So this will let me do a little more detail if I grab a smaller brush. And I'm going to go into my orange. Let's see, what kind of shape do I want to make with this one? I don't know why this reminds me, but remember that movie with Tom Hanks where he like crash landed on this island, and the only friend he had was like this soccer ball that he painted this guy's like a little, well, he didn't paint it. It was like a blood stain that looked like from his hand. So it was like a hand shape, but he made it, he had a name. I wish I could remember the name. But anyway, this shape that I've made right here, like totally reminds me of that hand guy. Drop it in the comments if you remember, because now it's gonna drive me crazy. And see, these are not flowers, right? Like this is so not a flower, but it's okay. It still is going to read as a flower, so I'm good with it. I'm gonna bring in some of this orange too. I'm not orange, green. I'm looking at the color orange and then picking up green. So I like to overlap these and then let the colors kind of bleed into one another as I'm connecting them. If you feel like it's too much of a bleed, you can always go in and blot. In fact, I should have my favorite watercolor tool available. As I'm working on watercolor, that would make sense. Okay, so let's go into, I feel like I want to do some more of that green, and I'm just gonna play with it over here, like a couple little dots of it. And it's such the beautiful thing, like with florals, because it doesn't really need to make like perfect sense. It just will still give you the idea that like it is a floral. It's just incredible, because I don't have the best drawing skills. Drawing, I feel like, is something you have to work on constantly in order to really keep up with it, right? Like you have to really practice at it in order to keep up those skills. And I don't, I guess, enjoy drawing enough that it's something I do a lot. But I absolutely adored the opportunity to do some drawing in a sketchbook with my friend Susan Yates, who has the Inspire Sketchbook membership. And it really taught me the value again of drawing and how you can really still stay loose. Like I think I had this idea, probably left over from art school, that drawing needs to look a certain way in order for it to be good enough. And I realized that I can still incorporate like my loose style into drawing. And in fact, I am the guest artist inside her group this month, and I'm so excited to be able to share with her group. It'll be so much fun. In fact, do you want to see? Let me give you a little sneak peek of what we're doing. Okay, it's going to be a sneak peek. It's going to be really fast. Ready? We're doing this painting inside of her Inspire membership. So it will be so much fun. I'm also teaching them some different ways to warm up and some different ways to just do quick sketching, and then we're going to turn a lot of things that we've learned into that particular painting, and then I do another one that's in watercolor. So anyway, super fun. Check it out if you're interested. So I was liking this little swirly thing I did over there, but I think I need to just kind of blot that and then go back in with maybe some orange. And then before that dries, I'm just gonna blot that a little bit. So these brighter colors, the pinks and the purples, I can now go back in with my tiny brush and let's take away some details. So we learned that we can paint with water over watercolor, or we could use another like lighter color. And that is going to give us a lift. It's going to lift a little bit of that color off and help us create a little bit more detail. And I'm going to do this one first. See that? And then let's do this one over here. So fun! I love that so much. And let's go down here and do a little bit of that as well. And you want to give it just a few seconds, enough for it to absorb in. You don't want to do it too quickly. And then when you lift that off, it is just so fun. I love it so much. Okay, I'm not worried about this mess down here. We'll fix this with some beautiful vase. Let's play with this green down here. Is really interesting too. It was kind of like a desaturated green we made the other day. Maybe that needs to be over here. That could be, you know what this is reminding me of? Do you remember when we did the hydrangeas? Like maybe this could be something like that we can build onto. Let's see, maybe we can put another little clump of that over here. I'm trying to decide if I want to play with a vase yet. And I think maybe I do. Okay, so let's see here. I want to go in, I think I just want to make it a little wet down here first. And I'm thinking like a fat vase would be good because we've got quite a large bouquet down here. But maybe it could just be kind of an odd shape. Let's look at, I think this was a little bit of turquoise. I guess I should test it first before I use it. Yeah, let's try this turquoise. And so I basically painted with water first, and now I'm moving this color, this turquoise color, into the water. But it's not going to go further than my water. My water is like a boundary. So I'm just playing with what does that look like with that shape. I don't know. I don't know that I love that shape. It's kind of weird. I thought I would love it. But I feel like maybe it needs to be like wider at the top or something. And by the way, even if you guys weren't here, I would still be talking to myself. That's just the way it is. I don't know. I think what I want to do is I want to take this all the way over here into this corner. I know that's crazy right now. That's crazy. That's crazy, Tish. But now I want to put another big flower there. So I think I want to just go back into this purple and just make another big guy right here. Just kind of nestle him into this space. And I can always cut back into this, like if I do some gouache. So I'm not terribly worried about, like, did I go over too far right here? Because I think maybe I did. And I've been enjoying the stripes lately. So I think I want this vessel to end up relatively in this area. And then while I have that blue on my brush, I'm going to bring that into some of these flowers that are up here. You know what might be fun? with this guy is to play with a little bit of our dry pigment. Both of these are really dark. It's kind of an interesting like texture though. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. So yeah, so I think just cutting in on that is going to be super helpful to help me see what I need to do. Trying to figure out my shape. I'm trying to figure out too if I even want to try to bring it in over here. Maybe I'll bring it more over, even a little bit more. That's kind of fun. I feel like I always like my pots a little bit off center anyway. I'll have to let this dry and go over that again down here to kind of cover up some of the areas that I want with the background, but I think that's in good shape right now. That at least helps me understand the shape a bit better. I was just looking back at day one to see some of the things that I really enjoyed, and I really like this blue background that we did, and I like that I left some white space around the flowers. So these are good notes to take. So I do think I want to go back into this blue that I used in the flowers, and I'm going to redraw my stripies through here. Just because I was enjoying them, and then I got rid of them, so they needed to come back. Come back, stripies! And I'm just flipping back to this one for reference. So I also had some of these, like, I'm just going to put some of these through here, just little marks. And then we made sort of a gray with, I think it was like turquoise and red. Maybe that's a little purpley. And we'll put a little bit of green in it. There we go. And I was enjoying these little bits of color. I'm going to go back to these kind of hydrangea looking things, and I'm going to add a little bit brighter green. Just around the bottom. The paper towel is the best tool. I love this whole subtractive method too. I'm like super pumped about that. I want to try it on canvas and see how it works. So let's see, what do we want to do here? Let's flip back. Let's flip back to our I love the simplicity of that one. I think just for continuity's sake, I want to do just a tiny bit of a dry pigment. I think just even to have like the visual texture like we have down here on the pot will be like a nice connection point. I like that. And maybe I'll just add like a little bit through there. I like it. 27 days, guys. I'm so proud of us. I think, what does it say? They say it's 21 days to make a habit. So, hey, we passed that. Let's get out some green, just a little, and a lot of white. I'm going to wet it down a little bit, just so it's a little smoother to be able to put out. That little bit of white that's left between is like just super fun. So when I get to these tiny bits, I'm just using the edge of my brush. But again, not feeling like I have to go in between everything. So what I did is I'm just kind of embracing it, and I added a little bit of the turquoise watercolor to that. And I think I'm just gonna have this color down here just be slightly different. Which again, variety is our friend. And I am gonna come back to these hydrangeas and do a little more work on those too. But for now, I wanna play with some mixed media. Okay, where is my Le Pen? Guess we'll find out. Okay, so with these, I love to go around the flowers just a little bit, just put a little bit of detail. It doesn't have to be all the places, but just a little loose scribble to indicate that this is the top of the flower. And what I love about that too is it adds a little bit of a lighter value back, and I totally intentionally go off into like that background. Let me zoom in a little bit so y'all can see a little bit better. So I'm gonna do the same thing over here. I'm just kind of playing with where these might be. These little guys, I just like to scribble over. This guy, I'm gonna just do kind of more of a tight scribble over, because he's gonna turn into sort of a hydrangea. So I just wanna keep the look that this is something full and fluffy. I'll do the same thing over here. Over here, I'm just gonna do, and you don't have to do every flower, like you can totally pick and choose. Like I think I would like this flower and these. And honestly, that might be all I want to do with that. Now I'm going to get my blue Le Pen, which was already open. And I'm going to do kind of the same thing. So down here on the hydrangea, I'm just going to add some of those scribbles because this is the darker area. I'll do the same thing down here. I think I'll come back with gold and get those, but maybe I'll do blue here. It's these little marks that just kind of make everything interesting. So I'm gonna grab my gold now. Oh, my tummy's rumbling. Time for lunch. I hope you're feeling more comfortable with mixed media. It definitely, like working on paper, has made me much more comfortable, I would have to say. I'm just putting a few little suggestions of like some of these things that are kind of hanging out on their own. I want them to look like they do have some stems that are anchoring them into place. He gets a little dried up on the bottom sometimes, so you gotta flake off all the dried up stuff. I think I just want to kind of come in here and add some of these little, like the little flower petals, you know, so that it really looks like these might be hydrangeas or something, you know what I mean? Like something like that. Of course, we're not trying to make these exact, but see how that just added a nice little, and just doing this little top you don't want to fill it in, you know, like you just want to create this little texture that goes over and through some of these things. So it will kind of look like some of these other flowers are sort of nestled down into it. This little tool does a great job at this. I think better than the, I've used like a fine liner before to do it, but this actually works a lot better. I don't know why I whispered that. It's not like my fine liner is going to get upset. That's fun. And create a little bit of some shading. Same thing over here. I think that helped. It seems less flat. I just think maybe I just want to make some like organic, let me move my hand so you can see, some organic Wally Wonkered little circles through there, just to bring some of that white up. And then again, I think I might bring one of those down here. Maybe one over here. Just to kind of bring that together. Yeah, that looks great. Okay, so I did have a thought while I was drying. So we have this yellow kind of tucked in here, but we don't really have it many other places. So I was thinking maybe it might be a good idea if I take some of the yellow, I think maybe just because I was picking up the gouache down there on those. So maybe I'll just have to be a little more delicate with it. So just picking up some yellow and putting it over the circle. You're very close. Didn't I say at the beginning, I was like, oh, let's keep this one nice and easy and short and sweet. You know what? It just depends on the different energy that I'm bringing to the day. So I think what I want to do when I was thinking about this, I don't think I want to go over it with gouache again. I think I want to put out some of my transparent mixing white because I think that that will help us to lighten the background without lifting it. So if you remember, the transparent white is a great tool for just kind of creating these like blurry, lovely backgrounds. But because it's transparent, I'm not using like an opaque white where I'm going to lose all the wonderful marks and layers that I put down. Okay, friends, I'm feeling pretty good about that. I think I'm going to go ahead and pull the tape off. I have 2 pieces of tape on that side because I was trying to avoid the gutter. Yay! That looks so fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed that. Let me switch back so you can see. Okay, so I just want to thank you guys for hanging out with me again this month. We will be back tomorrow for day 28, our final wrap up. We'll do our sketchbook flip through and kind of look through the paintings together. So that'll be a lot of fun. But before I go, I wanted to show you guys this Sunday, I have a new workshop that is launching and it's called Boundless Blooms. And you probably have seen, I gotta figure out which way to go. You probably have seen these paintings behind me and then these tiny ones over here, all sorts of tiny ones, delicious little tiny paintings. So in this course, I teach you how to paint without brushes. So we're using very non-traditional tools to make this. Sorry, the glare is so crazy, but we're using very non-traditional tools to create these abstract paintings. And it's so much fun because I'm going to show you some techniques to make these just easy and very doable for everybody at any skill level, and they're just a joy. And then once we learn how to do that on these smaller pieces, we're gonna take them big. We're gonna go big. So if you've never gone big before, or it just scares the snot out of you, it won't anymore, because we're gonna feel really confident when we move to that big canvas. So if that's something you would be interested in, I am gonna put in our community page, just for subscribers to my channel, I'm gonna put a discount code in there for you. And I'm also gonna put a link where you can get on the wait list to learn more about the class, or just here at least when it opens on Sunday, as a reminder. No commitments or anything. And then that way you'll get an email from me that the course is open, and you can learn all about it and watch the little trailers for it, and it is going to be so much fun. So anyway, I hope you can join me for that as well. Thanks for being with me today, and happy painting.